topic for discussion, leveraging data analytics for strategic business decision making. I am Punesh Lokrat. I'll be your moderator for this session. I am an assistant professor with Ravensa University. I teach information technology and data management information systems to MBA and BBA students. From my experience, I can say that if you torture your data, it will confess. The data will give you the truth. But why the business houses needs truth today? It's maybe because they need it for operational excellence, customer and supplier intimacy, developing new products and services, decision making, competitive advantage, and survival. So today we have among us Dr. Sridevi, professor at Janssen School of Business, Coimbatore, as our speaker for today's session. So I'm going to give a brief introduction. So she's a management professional with 22 years of industrial and academic experience, uh, with specialization in marketing and analytics. She is an influential motivator to facilitate students' higher order learning through application oriented pedagogies. In addition to the academic contributions for teaching and students' development programs, she is also a core contributor in domains such as ARIIA, NIRF, NAC, NPTEL, curriculum designing, and institutional brand. Notably, she has fostered international collaborations with leading institutions in Nepal, Malaysia, and the UAE, promoting cross-cultural exchange and research excellence. In the domain of digitalization and business analytics, she has organized international conferences, faculty development programs, and management development programs in collaboration with nationally reputed organizations such as AICTE, NITTR, IIM Kolkata Making Turn, IIT Kharagpur, and TNCDW. She is an active expert committee member in AICTE, MEIC, board of various academic institutions, and also a reviewer in Emerald journals, which are listed in ABDC and WOS. She has also done collaborative consulting for corporates such as Penguin Apparels, Titan Paints and Chemicals, AGT Electronics Limited, BAM Consulting, AVT Natural Products, Bhima Jewelry, and Center for Management Development, Kerala. She holds a PhD and MPhil in Management, MBA in Marketing, and BSc in Mathematics. She has qualified UGC in Management. So, such a distinguished personality we are having with us. So, I am not going to spend much time before inviting her, but I want to say two lines to the participants of this session that during the session, participants cannot unmute themselves. They may use Zoom chat box for questions, okay, which will be answered during question answer session. Second is feedback and attendance link will be shared in the question and answer session and is available only for 15 minutes. Certificates will be issued to only those who submit the feedback form. So it is, if you want certificates, you need to give the uh, feedback forms and it will be open for 15 minutes. So now I'm not going to take any more minutes and I would like to invite Dr. Sidevi, professor at Janssen Schools of Business, to grace the session and start the session and enlighten us. Thank you. Madam, please.
Yeah, thank you for your wonderful introduction, sir. And
Thank you.
welcome to all the participants. And I am really overwhelmed by your response and your interest to know more about analytics. And of course, it is the very talk of the day, analytics, how it is getting involved in all the industries and in all the decision making process, and what is new in decision making by applying analytics. Since decisions, every human being, every business, it's a very usual one. Making decision, it's not something new. It's a very usual one. But where comes the difference is the data driven decisions. when we are making decisions, when we are formulating any strategies, how well are we proceeding to data driven decisions? That's the strategic difference between the traditional way of decision making and the modern or else the very much transformative way of decision making. So, with this intro point, I would like to take you through my presentation. I'm sharing my screen, and for the following minutes, we are going to discuss how does analytics help in businesses for the decision making. Since when we say decision making, it's a very humorous process, and it needs lots of strategic critical thinking behind the decision making. And for the successful decisions, of course, analytics is going to be the lifeblood, which is going to bring out the desirable outcomes for any business. So, in this context, I really thank Association of Indian Management Schools for formulating such a knowledge sharing forum and giving me an opportunity for discussing about this topic, novel topic, leveraging data analytics for strategic business decision making. And we all know that why this data analytics is getting its importance across the industries. If you take right from micro level organizations, I'm not saying only conglomerates, right from micro level organizations, each one has started to realize about the importance of analytics in their business decisions. To that extent, analytics is like a very lifesaver for all the businesses, and that's where they are realizing it's not that intuitive based decisions are going to drive the business anymore. Okay, so like they are well realizing or started to realize that how far analytics is going to help them or direct them in the way of informed decision making. So, in this context, today we have a session on this inspiring young leaders session on the theme leveraging data analytics for strategic business decision making. And to start with, I would like to have a few seconds of discussion towards data driven decisions. Since very traditionally, even if you take family owned businesses, for generations together, they were taking decisions. Whether micro organizations or else conglomerates, decision making happened right from the very initial stage onwards. But what is the difference and what is the very main point to be highlighted in data driven decisions? Data driven decisions, no, it's like every decision is around the data. You are not taking any decision out of your judgmental views or else based on your intuitions. Instead, you are so much logical in making your decisions. That's where you are looking at all the facts, all the data, and based on that, you are making a well informed decision. That's the decision type called as data driven decisions. And if you look at the application or else the relevance to present business, it is very much vital to know about your stakeholders. It may be your customers or your investors or your employees, any stakeholder for that matter. It becomes imperative to know about your stakeholders who will give you lot of data. When you are ignoring or else when you are least bothering about the data provided by the stakeholders, then you are simply carried out with your own perceptions or else with your own judgments where the decisions may go wrong. Instead, in data driven decisions, every decision maker is keeping the data as the first and focal point of decision making process. So what may happen is the decision making becomes so much unbiased and it is very much rational in approach and by which all the stakeholders could be benefited. This is a very unique aspect of data driven decision. And that is why almost all the organizations have started to shift towards data driven decisions. And to have as an illustration, it may be your customer's interest, knowing about customer's interest, what is really influencing them, persuading them, know about it. And if you offer that in the right perspective, then you will be the winner in the business. And this is how data driven decisions are very much directed towards the business success. And this is the reason why I have chosen this particular topic, irrespective of our domains. People, those who are attending, the participants, if you look at your domain expertise, some of you may be from marketing or finance or from any management domain. And analytics is one area which cannot be mapped with any one particular domain. It is applicable to entire business domains. It is not that it is relevant to marketing or else decision science. No, in each and every domain, decisions are unavoidable, and where it becomes vital to apply analytics without any discriminations. That is, I cannot say that it is more relevant to marketing alone. May not be. Even in your HR, you need to apply analytics in your finance decisions, and in several illustrations I have taken. How do businesses apply this analytics across the domains? And this is the very main reason for me to choose this topic, so that irrespective of the domains, all the management professionals will be knowing about, even the students and professionals will be knowing about the importance of analytics across the domain areas. Sometimes what may happen is when we interact with students, they may feel that if analytics is not going to be my specialization, is there any meaning in studying analytics or else in exposing myself to analytics? Definitely yes. The reason is it is not mapped with any one domain. Instead, it is mapped with the entire business scenario. Whether you are a marketing person or finance, whatever may be your specializations, analytics is going to be the very basic of your future, without which none of your decisions or none of your strategies can be framed. Particularly if you take today's business context and, of course, the futuristic business context also, the data is becoming more powerful. It is like the business nature is becoming fast paced, and it is more of data centric. You cannot keep away from data, since data is going to rule the business, and it is ruling the business, of course. The reason is without understanding or without collecting data, you will be really blindfolded in your decision making. So before making any decision, any business decisions, data, knowing about data and understanding the data becomes the prerequisite for decision making. And in this context, I am very strongly endorsing this data analytics, how it is helping or else how it is facilitating the decision making process. And of course, the present businesses are filled with challenges. How much ever you predict, okay, so beyond that there are certain challenges which are giving a tough situation for decision making. So here comes data as a lifesaver for your well informed decisions. Since when you are continuously tracking your data, it is possible for you to cope up with this challenge, and it becomes a mandate to make quick and accurate decisions in this present scenario. You cannot procrastinate your decision making, or else you cannot have any trial and error approach. Usually, in decision making, sometimes people may tend to make trial and error approach, but now in this present context, we cannot afford to trial and error approach, where accuracy is the most important one which every organization is looking for. And here comes the importance of data analytics and its relevance to decision making. And of course, technologies are growing, analytical techniques are growing, which are very much very handy, very much helpful to the businesses to elevate themselves to the next level. And these are all the reasons in which like we could very well understand how far the traditional way of business is transforming, and the present and as well as futuristic business scenario is going to be completely shifted in nature. And these are all the characteristics which are demanding data analytics in decision making. And hence I am once again highlighting the role of data analytics in strategic decision making. And to know about analytics, what is this? Like, of course, data was there right from the beginning in any business, but what is new with this analytics and how does this analytics help the organizations? The thing is, data was there, data is there, but whereas how far you are enabled to extract the data. Since sometimes what may happen is, and particularly when it comes to big data, you are having a voluminous data, and here comes the meticulous part of the decision maker. The reason is, if you are well aware of which data is available with you or else which data is needed for your decision making, then you can be more focused in data collection as well as in data processing, so that though you have voluminous data, you need not worry about the quantity. Instead, you can extract the relevant data and apply it for your decision making. So this is where analytics is very helpful in extracting what the relevant data. If you take your database, you may have more number of data which are not equally important for all your decision making. Of course, based on your decision objectives, you need the data, and analytics will help you to filter out to make the relevant data out of the entire data set, so that what may happen is you can easily land with the filtered data which is more relevant and very much objective oriented data. That's the beauty of analytics, how it is helping the decision makers. And of course, not only to understand the existing data, with the help of existing data, historical data, you can also predict, make your predictions for the future outcomes, which will help the organizations to think beyond, not only to focus on the present scenario, even they can be futuristic in the decision making. These are all possible by applying analytics into decision making. That's why I am emphasizing once again why this analytics is important for decision making. And if you look at the characteristics or else the supporting factors, why do the decision makers need to focus on analytics? What sort of importance analytics is having with relevance to decision making? If you look at, analytics is a very powerful decision making tool. The reason is, if X or Y make the decision, it may not be biased. Usually, no human tendency will influence the decision making, by which if two individuals are handling the same scenario, same set of factors, based on their personal influence, the decisions may differ. Whereas when you are going with analytical approach, such biases are to be, it's possible to be removed, and where you can come out with unbiased decisions. To that extent, analytics is a very powerful decision making tool. Whether X or Y, whomever is making the decision, here the analytics is going to lay the foundation by which you will be making the decision as more data driven decisions, and hence your decisions will be out of biases, and hence you can have powerful decisions. And then in analytics, we are using completely depending on data, algorithms, and technology. What maybe the outcome is, whomever is applying the algorithms, okay, so like for the same data, for the same algorithm, the results are going to be the same, and hence it is like objective oriented and not subjective in nature. And then historical and real-time data could be well analyzed with the help of analytics, by which we can have predictions, and also no accurate predictions are possible. Without this data, just assume that if you are making certain predictions, that may be out of your experience or else out of your own judgments or intuitions. That may not be right all the time. It's simply a probability. Whether your decisions are going to be successful or not, it is going to be just a probability. But whereas if you are depending on analytics and making your decisions or making your predictions, then it is well supported with logical approach, and by which you can cut down the failure rate. And these are all the reasons why analytics is well analyzed, well accepted by the decision makers. And with the help of analytics, it is easy for us to predict the trends or else to understand the trends. That's also possible. So if you look at with the present set of data, present set of factors, you can find out the relationships. You can find out the trends prevailing, which is going to lay a foundation for your futuristic decisions. Since with this knowledge, with this data and knowledge, you can confidently take up your futuristic decisions. Since the present, the historical and present data, it is guiding you what sort of trends are prevailing, or else what set of relationships across the factors are prevailing. By deeply understanding this set of trends and relationships, you can easily identify how the trend is going to be in the future. To that extent, it is really a guiding factor. Of course, lots of generative models are coming up, which is again working on your data. And by advanced algorithms, they are giving you the desirable options by which you can make your decisions. And then about lots of insights and outcomes. It is actually, no, if you look at the database, if you are not analyzing, it is simply numbers, or else it is simply qualitative and quantitative data. That's it. But whereas when you bring in analytics into your data set, that's where you are just processing the data, understanding the data, and extracting the insights and outcomes that will be helpful for your decision making. Otherwise, no, if analytics is not applied, if database alone is there, every business they will be having a database, whether in a formal manner or else in the informal manner. But when you are thinking of applying analytics, that is the real start of your professional approach towards decision making. And that's where you are collecting your data in a very formal base, and you are not stopping there. With the collected data, you are just processing it and extracting the needful insights and outcomes based on your objectives. What sort of decisions you are trying to make, with that certain objectives, you are processing your needful data and you are trying to extract the insights. This is going to be the input for your decision making, by which you can confidently take your decisions. This is what leading to data driven decisions. So I believe that so far I have introduced what sort of changes are happening in business scenario, and also know what is the role of analytics, why analytics to be considered in decision making process. So now we have discussed what is analytics, why analytics, everything, and here comes how to apply. Since it is a very professional approach, without understanding analytics, if I am simply starting the process, then I may not get the desirable outcomes. So to reach or else to attain the goal of data driven decision, we need to follow certain sequence of steps. The very first thing is data collection. And when we say data collection, it is not that all junk. No, instead, we need to ensure that relevant data is collected. And also, no, from various sources, it may not be from any one particular source. If you want to know about your customers, you need not know only from the customers' feedback. Instead, from sales records, from salespersons, and from intermediaries like this, you can use all the relevant sources for collecting relevant data. Once, if the data is collected, you need to understand the data. Data is like an asset. It's with you. You are owning an asset. Okay, so like say for example, you are owning land or else real estate property. So here you are the owner of that asset. It is your responsibility to know about the asset. Otherwise, no, you may not understand the worth of it. Likewise, here data is an asset to an organization. So when the organization is having the data, it becomes vital to know about the data, understand the data, what is available. That will give you the base for your decision making. The reason is until or unless you know that what is available with you, you cannot know how to process it. So the very first step or else the very basic prerequisite is to understand the data by which you can really know that what is available and how best you could utilize the available resources and what best outcomes could be filtered or extracted. Okay, so for that sake, you need to understand the data. Of course, when we have big data or else voluminous data, it becomes a very much a mandate to check the reliability and accuracy. You cannot simply accept all the data which are on the way. Say, for example, as I have said, to know about your customers, knowing through their feedback is one of the sources. Maybe through salespersons, through intermediaries, through sales records, all those sources are there. But here, whatever source you are using, whichever source you are using, whatever data you are taking, just check that, validate that in terms of its reliability and accuracy, whether you are having the right set of data. Otherwise, that may become a constraint in decision making. The reason is you are trusting this input. Data is the input for your decision making. If your input is not like if the input is inferior, then certainly the output will be inferior. And that's why here ensure the quality of the input. Input means what I mean here is data. Ensure the quality of the data in terms of its reliability and accuracy. If it is reliable, then your data, that is the input for decision making process, is the best one by which you can apply the appropriate analytical techniques and you can land in the quality output. That's why it is very important. Not only the quantity is going to help you, also the quality of the data. If sometimes, no, if you have some suspected or else somewhat inferior quality data, then definitely you cannot rely on that for decision making. That's why it's very much important to ensure the reliability and accuracy of the data before processing it, before analyzing it. Then look at the appropriate analytical models, predictive models, all those things. Which tools, data analytical tools, are you going to apply for processing this data? Then, out of the analytical application, you will be creating models, and with that models, you will be specifying which business need are you going to address. Of course, I have certain cases. While discussing that, we will be understanding how each and every application is different in nature and how far analytics is beautifully supporting all the business decision needs. And sometimes, no, when you have historical data, again validate that. The reason is some like manual data collection, it might have happened, or else from different sources you are collecting data. It's your responsibility, that is the decision maker's responsibility, to ensure that your data is good at its quality and accuracy. So if all these steps are crossed, then You are having a qualitative, you are having a rich data, rich in the terms of quality. You have the right set of data where you have ensured its reliability and accuracy, and you have chosen the right set of tools for analyzing it, and by which you will be arriving at the desirable outcomes. So this is how the analytics process. This is a very simple sequence I have drafted by which you can start, like you can understand where to start and how to end up the analytical approach. The same process, it's very much simplified with only four steps I have taken. So the very first thing is collect data. So when you are collecting, be very much objective. What set of data you really need for your analysis as well as for your particular decision making. Be very choosy and go ahead with data collection. After collecting the data, analyze the data, and this is where you need to select which analytical tool and for what purpose. Once the analytics is done, you will be having the insights. Based on that, go for actions. Say, for example, it may be customer segmentation or else employees' performance appraisal, whatever it is. Once if the insights are extracted, have that as your guideline for taking your business decisions. Since that will help you how to go ahead with your decision making. So the last step is whatever decision, whatever analytics you are doing, never stop it with one attempt. It's to be a continuous process, and particularly in businesses, when you are venturing into data-driven decisions, you cannot apply analytics and stop there. The reason is with the present data, with the available data, you have taken up a decision. But in the future, say for example, next year or next quarter, there may be lots of environmental influences by which, you need to understand the changing data. And that's why repeat this process as a very regular process. Let that be your way of life, way of your decision making, by which you are continuously monitoring your data, processing it, extracting the insights, then making your decisions. And hence, here we should understand one thing: no business can apply analytics for one time in its lifetime. It should be their way of life. And that's where data driven decisions will be continuously traveling with the business. It will be a part of the business, and it will be facilitating their decision making process. So this is how the businesses, they need to understand how far analytics is a very it's a part of business, and it's to be a continuous process in their decision making. So here comes certain areas where we can apply analytics, and you could see applications. Why analytics is chose? It's like why everyone is preferring analytics for better decision making. The reasons are listed here. It's for improved accuracy and confidence. Since when you are individually taking a decision, that's where I have said if X is taking, Y is taking, they may have their own personal influences, perceptual influences, by which it may be biased and they may differ in their decisions. But if you are applying analytics, it is out of all these biases. Whether X is making or Y is making, the decisions will be out of biases. It will be unbiased in nature. The reason is here algorithm is extracting the data insights, and that insights are going to reflect in the decision making process, and by which you can completely remove all the personal biases, so that it's like more accurate and you can confidently implement the decisions. And second point is about anticipating trends and patterns. It's not only to take decisions for the present context, even For the future, with available historical data and present data, you can also anticipate what may be the future trends and patterns. And it is very much helpful in risk mitigation and opportunity identification, particularly if you take the finance institutions or else even businesses when they are making their investment decisions or else like diversification or any strategic decision. When they are making, they can very well mitigate the risk with the help of analytics. The reason is data, it's having all the vital points which are to be relevantly reviewed for before making your decisions, so that you can very well mitigate the risk involved in the decisions. And you are not ignoring any relevant data, you are just including all the relevant data, processing it, extracting insights, then making your business decisions and strategies. And that's how here your risk is mitigated. Also no, even the hidden opportunities you can identify by well processing, well analyzing the data. Also about resource allocation, it's helping us whether to have production planning or supply chain management. Here, I cannot blindly allocate the resources. Instead, if I am going with the data driven decisions, my decisions will be more prompt in nature, and by which I can avoid the errors as well as the flaws involved in it. If it is a production planning or supply chain management, no, I can well balance the supply and demand, and no time I'll be having any shortages or else any surpluses. I can very well have a balance between supply and demand with the help of this data analytics. Then, particularly in customer segmentation and personalization, since every individual is unique, so here comes the need to segment the customers, and with the help of data analytics, you can even have clusters. Each individual is unique, but whereas no, you can have clusters, and by which you can have segmented clusters, and towards the segments you can formulate your strategies. Of course, for ultimate strategic decision making like business expansion or new product development, all those places also no, you can go along with the data. The reason is here with your available data, you can easily picture it out in which market you are doing good and in which market demand is growing, or else for which sort of product the future demand will be. All those things could be well understood when you are processing the data, and that's how your data analytics, it's like laying a path towards your futuristic decisions. Of course, continuous improvement, since data analytics, it's not at all a one-time activity in any business. It is traveling along with the business, and it will help them in the continuous improvement in each and every aspect of the business, particularly when the businesses are well tracking their KPIs, key performance indicators, then that will send signals where are they going wrong, or else is everything right. That direction is laid by continuously monitoring these KPIs. When key performance indicators are well set, first thing is we should set it right. What sort of key KPIs we need for our business, we need for our decisions. And if you are continuously collecting and monitoring the KPIs, then that will give us the strong signals based on which we can confidently go ahead. So these are all the reasons, and also now the applications of why analytics is important and how it is applied in decision making. Certain case studies are taken, and of course, I will just brief it, and let's see how they have applied analytics for their business decisions. If you take this case, first case study, it's about a Denmark-based fitness center. Here, like they were doing good, but they just thought of expanding their business, expanding their market, and for that, they just wanted to know about the customers. The reason is Without understanding the customers, if you simply open up your branches, then it may not be the real successful decision. So, what this fitness center has done is they have well realized what is the requirement, what is the requisite for the market expansion. So, what they have decided is increasing their knowledge about customers. This was identified as the prerequisite before starting any more branch. They just wanted to understand the customers, by which they can very well establish the facilities based on the segment dependent factors. And this is how this particular fitness center, they just identified a knowledge gap in terms of what they know about their customers and what is to be well understood about the customers. There existed a knowledge gap, and for bridging that knowledge gap, they have taken the advantage of analytics. So they have collected complete data about the customer profiles with the help of even the browsing behavior was well captured, and from the browsing behavior, the needful data was analyzed, and by which they have understood what is the engagement rate, how many are visiting the website, what sort of requirements do they look for, and what sort of services they are expecting. After understanding all this knowledge about the customers, this particular fitness center, they have opened up a good number of branches, and that too they have segmented the customers, and to their interest and location base they have started the centers. So they have become the number one in Denmark, and this is possible by applying analytics in the decision making. And second case study, it's about a blog publishing service. So here a blog publisher, they were just publishing different journal and different set of write-ups were available, but the thing is they never had any clue about who is the reader, what set of interest they have. And to address this particular knowledge gap, they have taken the help of analytics. And every time when a reader is entering into the blog, his data, that viewers data, visitors data was well captured, and that has given good amount of inputs, like what's the profile of the visitor, what's the taste and preferences of the visitor, what's the behavioral pattern, how long are they reading, what sort of reading they are doing. So by knowing well about the readers, the particular blog publisher has increased the customer base by providing unique services based on the taste and preferences of the visitors. They have customized their offerings, and by which they have increased the visitors, and by which they increased their revenue too. Yet another case study, it's about footwear. So here you could understand analytics application in product segment as well as in service segment, in digital marketing, everywhere. Analytics is very much helpful for the businesses to well understand the business and to take the decisions in a more accurate manner. And segmentation and personalization. So here this footwear maker, Sweden based footwear retailer, they just wanted to deliver best shopping experience to the customers, and for which they needed to understand about the customers. So what they have done is they closely monitored the online behavior of the shoppers, and they have understood for what reasons and for what set of products the visitors are repeatedly viewing the website, or else what's the reason influencing them for revisiting the brand. And by understanding this, they have come out with customized products and services which has helped them in widening up the customer database, and to have a few generalized applications, okay, application areas where and all analytics is being applied. Different businesses are taken as example. Of course, beyond this listed examples, also analytics is being applied in all the sets of industries But to highlight few, I have taken few illustrations. In retail sector, if you take for illustration, it may be Walmart or Amazon, they are closely monitoring the customer's behavior. Accordingly, they are offering their products and services. And in healthcare, analytics plays a very vital role, since even in diagnosis and even in predictions, in forecasting, all those things, they are well understanding the data and applying analytics, by which analytics in healthcare is becoming very common nowadays, and it's a blessing to mankind also. The reason is even the hidden data, all those things are well analyzed, and fruitful outcomes are delivered. Of course, in entertainment industry, if you take any sort of OTT platforms, okay, so like the recommendations are based on algorithms only. It's based on analytics only. So, like what set of taste and preferences the visitors are having, accordingly the prompts are given or the recommendations are given. Recommendations algorithms are used to entertain the visitors in a more productive manner. Of course, in manufacturing, we are using analytics, and with the help of Industry 5.0, it is like artificial intelligence where data is easy to capture. Even most of the machineries are sensor based machineries, by which the data is easily transmitted and collected as a database. And if you take a machinery, you need not wait for the day when it goes wrong. Even before that, you can understand how many hours or else how many units it has produced and when it may require a maintenance activity. That could be well analyzed based on the available data. To that extent, sensors are transmitting the data, and based on the database, you can easily analyze and identify when you need to plan your maintenance activity, so that it will be a preventive maintenance activity. You can avoid any sort of failures. Machinery failures could be avoided. To that extent, analytics is helpful. And in insurance industry, we all know that the claim settlement rate is the real success of any insurance player. And here, for doing this analytics, right from the customer database and what set of claims are raised. Okay, so it may be accident reports or it may be any historical data. It is completely analyzed, and that's where you could understand how certain insurance players are being the most trustable brand among the customers. To that extent, even in insurance industry, the customers database is well analyzed, and they are also predicting what set of customers or else what set of profile customers may face the risk at the earlier rate. That is also possible. And in cyber security, of course, with lots of patterns and anomalies, they are easily identifying the fraudulent activities. And nowadays, if you look at net banking based fraudulent activities, any sort of cash mishandling, okay, so all those things are easily tracked, and even to greater extent, it is prevented with the help of analytics. So these are all the general illustrations to understand how analytics is applied in decision making, strategic decision making, and certain other areas. Previously, we have seen about the industries as illustrations wherein all analytics is being applied. These are all certain areas, maybe in understanding the product demand, or else while framing the pricing strategies, you are applying analytics. What may be your pricing preferred by the target audience? If your target audience are price sensitive buyers, then you cannot go for any sort of higher prices. You need to understand the affordable range of your target audience. Accordingly, the pricing strategies to be formulated. So here comes the role of analytics. Likewise, in customer retention, yeah, if you are just identifying any sort of, if you are predicting any sort of customer churn, then it is well advisable to predict and prevent customer churn so that you can retain them for longer term. And maintenance scheduling, just now we have discussed how industries are applying analytics for their maintenance scheduling, even for talent acquisition, revenue forecasting, and risk assessment. Every area of businesses, they are applying analytics to make it as more rational, more logical in nature. The decisions are out of biases and it is more logical in its nature. A few more examples based on the companies. Earlier, we have seen about the industrial application, then about area-based application, management area-based application. Here comes company-based illustration. So Amazon, a very good example to understand how they are being the market leader with the help of analytics. Since every decision, whatever Amazon is making, it's completely the outcome of data analytics. Since they closely monitor, they closely analyze the available data with algorithms, and by which they are understanding the user's behavior, the taste and preferences, and that's how they are sending all the recommendations, prompts, and by which they are just attaining the customers. And then about pricing strategies based on the demand, and even when you are looking at the big sale day, all those things, they are just formulating the pricing strategies based on the market data as well as based on the customers data. So this is how Amazon is the very good example to know about how analytics is influencing their strategic decision making. And Netflix, we all know that recommendations differ from individual to individual. That is because the input is captured from the visitors' watching behavior. Their basic taste and preferences are well understood. Accordingly, the recommendations are given, and even churn prediction is well done by Netflix, where they are continuously monitoring the subscribers, and in case if they are predicting the churn, they are just giving different promotional strategies are taken just to retain the customers. And also for content acquisition also, they are depending on this analytics where viewers engagement is continuously monitored. What set of programs are interestingly watched by the visitors, they are just monitoring that, and they are ensuring that the viewers engagement is at the best. Cook, not only online or not only Netflix, even no products. Coke also they are applying analytics to know about customers' preferences, particularly when they launch a campaign. They closely monitor the data, how many a target audience responded to the campaign, and what's the ROI for the particular campaign. If the campaign seems to be a successful one, they will design the future campaigns in a similar manner. This is how they are completely tracking, and particularly for the social media, they are monitoring it very closely to understand the social behavioral data of the target audience. Same Procter and Gamble also following about data analytics for through their market research. They have a very powerful research activities by which they are continuously monitoring the customer's behavior. Accordingly, they go for product innovations and any sort of marketing strategies. And Uber's pricing strategy, it's a real outcome of analytics. You might have seen sometimes they may go for 3x pricing. Okay, so like they are just understanding the people behavior at what time, what is the demand. They are just calculating the demand prevailing in the market. Whenever the demand is at peak, they are going for 3x charging, even to 3x charging. So here you could understand how they are materializing the demand prevailing in the market. And of course, for delivering the best customer experience, they are collecting the ratings and even the driver ratings, the service rating, everything they are collecting to ensure that where do they stand with the customer's expectation. Again, that's an application of analytics. This is how analytics is applied across the companies, even all the leading players we have taken, even the micro organizations, to their extent they are applying analytics in their decision making. and how certain models I have taken. Of course, it's a very deep topics, but whereas no, how these analytics are relevant, it may be with the help of decision trees, you can predict future behavior, you can well understand the existing behavior, and regression will help you to understand the relationship between the independent variables and dependent variable. And neural networks, when your factors are complex in nature, when you are having more variables, then neural networks could be applied to understand what sort of patterns prevailing among the variables. And all these things are possible with the help of analytics, which will be simplifying the decision making process. This is one simple example, this market response modeling. If you take a marketer when they are planning out different strategies, it may be a discount, or else buy one get one, or else to different group of customer, no offer. If they are devising these three alternatives, they are just understanding what is the outcome of this alternative. If you look at, it's like 18 percentage seem to be the topmost return percentage, but here you have discount, you have sold the goods in the discount rate. But whereas no offer, even without offer, you are able to get 15 percentage of returns. So this is where if you simply move on with your decisions, you may go wrong. But whereas no, with the help of analytics, when you are deeply analyzing the data, you will understand group C, where even without any offer, they are giving you 15 percentage. But whereas group A, though the percentage is 18 percentage, here you are giving a discount, which may be a loss factor. Okay, this is how we need to deeply understand how analytics is influencing our decisions. And of course, this is the present scenario is not the end of analytics. We are just having greater influence of analytics in the future decisions, and certain more trends are going to influence the role of analytics in business decisions. It may be artificial intelligence and machine learning, where everything is going to be more sensor based. The data will be captured as how we have discussed in preventive maintenance illustration. Like everywhere, artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to be an unavoided one. And then about advanced analytical techniques, which is going to, even complex decisions can be simplified with the help of advanced techniques and IoT data, where you can get deep insights based on IoT generated data. Then lots of innovations and competitive advantages are possible in the near future by how you are applying analytics into your decision making. That's it for this topic. Thank you all for your patient listening. Shall we open up the forum for Q&A?
Thank you so much, madam.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so, so we, Dr. Sridevi has explained us the concept. She made us understand what is data analytics. She gave example of many companies where data analytics is applied, how it should be a way of life, not rather than a one-time process. It's a way of life, and we should be using data analytics not only in management but every functional areas. I also feel that we can use data analytics while taking decisions in our own lives also. Like what we are today is a choices which we have made over a period of time in our life. So the right decisions, we have got good things. Wrong decisions, we have landed up in the wrong areas. So data analytics is everywhere, and it gives us insights. And she has shared her vast experience in a very small time, and it is really quite helpful for me. Although I have taught you 10 years, a lot of things to learn from Madam. And now the participants. It's an opportunity for us. Okay, we have very few time, not much time left, but you can ask some questions. Okay, so one question we have got, like how to measure accuracy of data and how far AI will measure the accuracy. Uh, percentage reflection may not be possible. Okay, what I understand, but I think that Madam can tell us that how AI can help us and this how to measure the accuracy of data. So this is one
Yes.
question we are getting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have read the question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for raising this question, Dr. Vellela. And here, accuracy testing, we have different tools to test the accuracy. And actually, no, before starting data analytics, data preparation is the very prerequisite step where we have to go for data cleansing, data complete data when it is in a prepared form, that is in a complete form, then only it's the right input for analytics. And for ensuring this, we have a series of testing techniques where we can ensure the accuracy in a statistical manner. Okay, so like with the help of statistical test, it's not one or two, like even outliers, missing variables, missing values, and even the quality of data by measuring the reliability test. All those things, even Cronbach alpha, all those things could be done to ensure how far the to ensure the quality of the data. When you ensure that your data, that is the input, is flawless, then only you can really start the data analytics. So this the first and foremost step of analytics is data preparation, and that will give us the accuracy results. When we are confident about the accuracy, then we can step into, and for testing the accuracy, as I have said, to test the outliers, to test the missing values, to test the reliability part, we have exclusive statistical test.
So a question from my side, madam. So
Yes.
I teach my students Herbert Simon's model of decision making. Like it starts with the gathering of data, then design, then choice. I think this is the process which is applied in data analytics, right?
Yes, yes, of
Herbert.
course. That's a very popular model which you are
Yeah.
teaching, and that's right from the step one onwards. You are taking along the data analytics. Right from the scrap, you are understanding how to collect data and how to process it and take it forward for data analytics. That's one of the best methods.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much. Any questions from the participants? You can write in the chat box. Okay. Uh, I think the presentation was very lucid, very beautiful, and it was for the audience who was new into data analysis. Uh, so we can come to the last of the session. Like I would like to thank the speaker, obviously, because transferring her knowledge, insights, and her expertise. Then Mr. Sudhir Sharma, President, AIMS, all the board members, the teachers, faculties, researchers who all have joined this, and also the participants. So I just want Priya, if you can share the feedback form so that I think only giving the feedback we can take the certificate of this, right? So, Priya, am I audible to you?
Share, I
Is it?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the form is
Yes, sir.
already there.
The feedback
All.
form already shared, sir.
Yes.
They will fill it, sir. They will fill it. Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank you, ma'am.
this is
Thank
a
you, sir, for the session. Thank you.
yeah.